Welcome to Live, Let, Thrive, a podcast about the Airbnb life, the share economy, and everything in between. Here are your hosts, Myka and Steve.
Hello.
And welcome back to another exciting episode
Of Live,
Let
Thrive. What's up, Myka the man?
I am chilling, Stevie Stacks. How you doing on this nightly Tuesday?
This nightly Tuesday. I like it. It's a nightly Tuesday indeed. I'm doing good, man. Cooler weather is here and I'm digging it big time. I woke up in the morning and it was like 45 degrees outside. I was like, whoa, that's a little chilly, man. And the house was a little chilly. I had to turn the heaters on. And you know, the first time you turn the heaters on in Texas, it smells like you're cooking something. I don't know. It's that weird gassy, not gas, but you know, it's a weird heater smell. So we got those fired up in the mornings and the evenings at night. It's feeling nice. It's a good change, and I got my hoodie, so I'm feeling good, man. And this episode 273 of your favorite short-term, mid-term, long-term rental podcast in the world, coming at you from Fort Worth and Arlington, Texas.
Let's go, man. Yeah, it's definitely chilly out. The winter is upon us. You know, once it hits like 60 in Texas, that's wintertime for us. Anything below that's freezing cold.
Man, yeah, man.
Yes.
And it's you know, I still got my day job. I still work at an airline, but you know, at the warehouse section, and so it's in that weird transition phase where they haven't switched the ACs off yet. You know, so it's cold in the warehouse, man. It's cold.
I know that
So,
game.
yeah. So now they're gonna transition to that, but we're gonna get like a warm weekend again. So it's one of those. It's hanging in there a little bit. But anyways, enough about the weather. We're gonna have an action-packed show for you today, an S&M episode, Stevie Stacks and Money Myka episode, and we're gonna talk about a lot of good stuff, man. Where should we begin? I was gonna, you know, there's so many places. I'll bring up a story.
Go ahead.
A rookie story, man. And it's funny because, like, you know, I've been telling the last few episodes, you know, me and Federico, you know, kind of, you know, doing our own things now, you know, kind of gonna, you know, went our separate ways in the business and all that stuff. So you know, I'm running Argis Rentals full time now. One of our clients, she, for some reason, she didn't want to do short-term rentals anymore. You know, she just I just want to, you know, I just want to be to turn it into a long-term rental and just forget about it, whatever. And I said, well, so you got a house, you know, near the stadiums in Arlington it's full of furniture. If you're gonna rent it long-term, how much are you gonna rent it for? We talked about price. I said, how about let us rent it? You know, you don't have to worry about nothing no more. You know, we'll handle every single thing. And we won't bother you for nothing. We're just going to be like regular long-term tenants for you, but we're going to be have the ability to do short-term rentals. And she said, okay, cool. You know, that sounds good. So we got in, you know, at a pretty good, you know, decent price. And it's full of furniture already set up. It's already, you know, a short-term rental for us. We already got listings for it and all that stuff and reviews and everything. So it's like a seamless process. And now it's just going to be like an arbitrage for us. Well, it's funny because last night, as a lot of stuff happened last night. Last night was a rough night for me, man. But today's a lot better. You know, after the storm, the sun comes out. It's pretty. I get this call in the middle of doing all these other things that I'm trying to put out fires. You know, sometimes like fires all happen at once. You know, every single thing. It's like a California wildfire. It just starts burning everywhere, right? And so they said this is one of the things that happened. She said, well, I got a message from Princess, you know, who runs the team for us, and she said, hey, these guests can't get in. The smart lock died, and the lockbox, you know, is empty. There's no keys in the lockbox. And I'm like, oh crap. She said the cleaners were supposed to change out the batteries to the smart lock, you know, quick set smart lock, but they didn't have time or they forgot to or whatever. And now these guests, we gotta, you know, this is our first, you know, we just took it over just barely, and we got a last minute booking last night, and And of course, they can't get in the house and it's late. And I'm calling like the owner and saying, hey, do you have any spare keys? He goes, well, the spare keys were in the lockbox. And she's checking with her brother. Her brother don't have any keys. And her mom didn't have a spare key to the place. And then we actually called the previous guest and said, oh yeah, we were using the spare key, but I think we left it in the house somewhere. We didn't put it back in the lockbox. And so yeah, like I said, it's like a rookie, like early days of Airbnb. This stuff happens, but it happened last night. And luckily, this is a good buddy to have. And I'll introduce him to you too, because he's in the area. He's a locksmith. He has his own mobile, like the van. That's just like, you walk in the van, it's his shop is in his van. And he works at American Airlines also. But he said, oh, this is my retirement van. This is what I'm going to be doing. Ease into retirement. I do this, whatever. Shout out to Miguel's locksmith. And so I called him up. He said, yeah, I get off work at 10:30. I can get out there. I'll be there by 11. And so he went out there. He was able to, with all his little tools, he was able to open up the door, and he put batteries into the thing for me so it'll work. Plus, he made me 2 keys also that we're going to use. And he gave them to me today. And so I had, they got in and everything. They were super cool. They weren't a-holes. Some guests can be a little rough, and understandably so. You would suck to not be able to get into your place at night. But it was handled, and I'm gonna go over there. I'm gonna put a regular old school keypad lock on the back door. Here's why. Because those batteries last for years, and those old school key lock non-smart, keypad lock. You know what I'm saying? The deadbolt, because like I said, what zaps the batteries on the smart locks is that they're connected to Wi-Fi all the time, right? And then so that's what always saps them, and people open them and close them from a distance, and so the batteries last not as long. But one of those regular keypad locks, I'm gonna stick that on the back door for emergency uses, so in that way no one will have to get in. Hopefully no one will have to get into those locks. I'm still gonna have a lockbox with extra keys in it, for like a backup to the back. It's a house, yeah. But on the back door, I'm gonna just put a regular
where's your
keypad
security
lock.
system?
Security system?
Yeah, like a Vivid security system. Could just open the garage.
Well, see, here's the thing. It's an old school house, and the garage, it's one of those old school houses with the 1-car garage there's no door that goes into the house. You know what I'm saying?
Oh man.
They get in the garage. There was a garage thing to get into it, but there's no door going. Yeah, this house was built in like 1950. And
man. You gotta do the back door, man.
And so anyway, so yeah, I'm gonna put a regular old school lock on the back door, old school keypad lock that with the batteries last forever on those freakers. So if that ever happens again, I'll send them around back. They can get in through that with the code there that we can control, because I don't like to hand out keys if I don't have to, And so yeah, old school situation happened. Luckily we handled it. There's always a way to handle all these, but it just so happened it happened on a crazy night. So that's my story to begin this wonderful episode.
You told a story of leadership, management, and perseverance, man. I like it, man, because you found a way to get it done, man. And also you a story of systems. You said you got a new system of them going through the back. Also, how often do you guys check the battery?
Well, we get the alerts from QuickSet, right? The QuickSet alerts. And here's the thing. And so the cleaners, I'm not going to throw them under the bus, because usually they're pretty good about, we'll tell them, hey, put some new batteries, and they do. But this was in a transition phase. So there was like, the battery started going a little bit low, right? And then they were supposed to put them on the last cleaning, which they forgot, whatever. But then she had the place for like a few weeks that she was going in, and her mom was going in doing some things. They were doing a few repairs here and there before they handed it off as a long-term rental to somebody, which was us. And so they were going in and out back and forth using the lock. So we weren't even kind of part of the property for that little stretch, right?
Yeah.
And so we took it over on the 15th. guests booked it on the 16th, so it had been like kind of empty for a little while, for a few days after they had done all their stuff for a couple weeks, and then we took it over. It just so happened to die at that moment, you know. Of course, that's
Murphy's
Law.
Murphy's Law. Man, everything will go wrong, man. That can't go wrong. One thing that we did with locks, we did exactly what you did. We have the VAs check them on Monday, and anything that's under 50%, we replace it on the next clean. Because yeah, those locks can turn into a quick pain, man. Seriously.
Quick set, quick pain, baby.
For real, man. But yeah, man, because I think we're both at a point in our businesses where we're in the leadership phase, right? We're in a phase where you just got to be a good leader. You got to have leadership skills, and that's what you did, man. Because one thing that I've really been listening to, like on podcasts, is leadership, and just being a better leader, because it really has an effect on every facet of your life. You know what I mean? So that's what I've really been focused on.
Here's what's cool, man, because Princess, you know, she's my head VA, my lead VA, right? Or actually, and I told this on the show before, I hired, you know, I said, listen, I want to deal with one person. I'm gonna deal with you. You're gonna have your STR company inside of my company. You're gonna work for us, but I don't want to have, you know, I don't want to manage 5 or 6 different VAs. You can hire who you want. You can have the team you want, but I'm gonna deal with you if I need something. And so she's really been stepping up, man, taking it to the next level, because she has that pride of ownership now. This is my business. I'm gonna make it work. And anything like this, you know, and before, I guess, you know, if there's someone running the company, then they're, you know, this is how we do it. This is how we're gonna do it. Blah blah blah. But you know, that's fine. But now I'm like, this is what I want done. Please figure out a way to do it. It's kind of thing, and she does it with her team. You know, it's really cool. And for example, but she's really proactive now. So this happened last night, and she stepped up and said, "Oh, okay. So this is your friend Miguel. He's a locksmith. Please give me his information for when something like this happens again. We don't have to bother you about it. We can get it handled ourselves." I was like, wow, that's pretty cool, man. You know, and
you're managing leaders now. That's good.
Yeah, she's really, really proud. You know, she's taking pride in her leadership aspect of it, you know.
Yeah.
And I'm asking for a lot from her, man. I'm asking for like weekly reports. How's the listings doing? Because I want to get a visual on all the listings each week, so I'll know what I can and can't do, where I can improve and stuff like that. And so she's really, you know, I'm asking a lot from her, and she's stepping up to the plate. You know, she's really delivering. You know, and it's not bad to ask a lot of your employee. This is what I'm seeing, a common thread, you know, because I'm not saying I'm going to be one of these, the Elon Musk, Steve Jobs, whatever, but I like reading those books on these guys, you know, and they're on the ultra end of the spectrum where they literally change the world, right? Like Steve Jobs with his innovations, you know, that the things he came up with, I mean pretty much put a computer in every school back in the day, and then, you know, went from that to putting a, you know, smartphone in everybody's hand in the world, kind of. I mean, he moved, he actually changed the world. And Elon Musk is doing the same thing with, you know, with all these rockets and satellites he's putting up in space. He's going to take people to to Mars. He's going to have the whole world in Teslas before long. I mean, he's changing things, right? And I like to read the books on how these guys are, and it ain't always pretty. He expects a lot from the people that work for him, you know, almost almost he making impossible goals for his people to reach, you know, but miraculously they do a lot more than most companies do, right? Because they have a leader like that who sets these impossible goals. We need to get to the moon by Monday, kind of shit, you know. And there's no way we can do this. Oh, you can do this, we can do this, blah blah blah. I'm gonna stay up with you all night and get this done with you. You know, it's like seeing people like that see potential in the people around them, put the right people around them, and then push them to be the best they can. That's really inspiring.
Yeah, they trust his vision. That's a good leader. They trust your vision, and they're willing to go above and beyond for it. That's a good place to be in, man. Because yeah, That's like really what I've been working on is like leadership skills, working on, okay. Cause I remember last week you said, man, you sometimes stuff happens and you're like, you feel like the world's crashing down. But, having those skills in place and trusting your team is huge. But you were talking about something really good earlier. You we were talking about taxes. We were talking about cost segs. We were talking about looking at different strategies. What were you? Yeah, go into what were you talking about on that? Because I think that's like really important for the listeners, because a lot of listeners, they'll dive into something without peeling the layers back of what they're doing. And I think we can kind of go into like the importance of a coach, mentorship, and leadership in whatever you're trying to do. So yeah, touch on kind of what you were saying earlier.
Yeah, I was so that was part of the whole meltdown night last night, man. The whole everything hitting the fan at once. And it was because here's what happened. I had actually filed an extension on my taxes, right?
Mm-hmm.
And I'm trying to get all this sorted, and of course, it made it a little bit more messy that that the business is going on a different direction, with two co-founders going their separate ways and divvying all that up and seeing where it's going to put where are we going to put what where. So there's a lot of moving pieces, right? So went ahead and did an extension to give us some more time. And I thought I had everything ready for the CPA I was going to use, and I thought I had the numbers correct. Long story short, the numbers I was handed, I kind of was interpreting them wrong, like the P&Ls, the master P&L section, and I was trying to condense it to just 2022 numbers, right? And it was pumping out this big number. It was pumping out a big number of like profits, of all the profits for 2022. And I did some cross-seg studies that I was going to use, and I was sending all this information to the CPI I was going to use, and they were like, well, he goes, he's really busy right now, as you can imagine. And he said, yeah, I'm not going to have time to get to yours in time, but do you think that you owe, or do you think you're going to receive a refund? And I was like, well, I don't know. I sent you the numbers. He's like, okay, I'll get to him. I'll look at him Monday, blah, 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 blah. And he was like, Steven, this is looking like you're going to owe a lot because of this number you sent me. And I was like, what about the cross segs? He goes, well, it helps a little, but it looks like you're going to owe a lot of money. And like over $20,000, right? And then I know, I'm freaking out. And he's like, well, plus I can't be able to get to it. So I'm not gonna be able to get to it in time, blah, blah, blah. I was like, oh shit, what do I do? Do I do it myself, or do I, I have a friend who does taxes. She might be able to help me. And he's like, well, yeah, one of those options could work, but I don't have enough time. So, well, this sucks. so I'm hitting my friend up, freaking out too. And I'm like, well, and she's coming to the same conclusion too. She's like, it looks like you're going to owe over $20,000 plus fees and fines, because I'm not going to be able to get through this in time, probably until tomorrow, and the cutoff's today and this and that. And I was like, oh crap. And I said, she's like, well, it looks like you had a lot more. She's looking at my 2021s too. She looked like you had a lot more write-offs and expenses on that year than you have on this year. I was like, well, this is the numbers that I was given, so I don't know what's going on. She said, well, can we call, Federico and find out? Because like he was doing the books, and so putting everything in Notion. That's what we had everything in.
Oh, you using Notion for your taxes?
Notion, yeah, for all the P&Ls and
Damn.
stuff. I know it's all changing.
Some gurus, that's some gurus right there. I just heard of QuickBooks, man. Y'all said y'all got y'all shit in Notion. God,
yeah. No, that's part of where I'm going on this episode. Little QuickBooks. It's on my to-do list. So anyways, so she's looking at all this stuff, telling me kind of the same conclusion. And she said, well, can we talk to Federico? I'm trying to hit up Federico, but he started his he's doing a mentorship now, so he wasn't reachable. And so, but he called me later in the night. He's like, what's going on? And I was like, these numbers, man. I was like, first of all, this is what I'm coming up with. And he let me dive in there. He dives into him, boom, boom, boom. He moves some things around. He puts it to 2022, pulls this, whatever. He does what he does. And he goes, okay, this is what they should be. And the number was like 100,000 less than what I had it at. And so I'm like, oh my God. I was like, that's correct? That's correct. I say, he's like, well, how come mine was coming up with that? I said, I only put the 2022. He goes, yeah, you had it showing the 2022 numbers, but it was still adding the 2003 totals to those 2022 numbers.
Hey.
And I was coming up with that big number. And I was like, oh, I said, dude, you just freaking saved my night, man. And in the middle of doing all this, I'm getting these phone calls. Hey, the locksmith and all this shit. So I told my friend, Fabi, shout out to Fabi, great accountant. And she computed the numbers, blah, 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 blah. She's like, okay, this is going to help a lot. Today she's telling me, okay, you're actually going to receive a refund. So you're not going to get hit up with late fees and all this penalties and stuff. And just send me this, and then I'll submit it. And then you're going to actually get a refund. Long story. There's a moment like that where I'm just rethinking everything, dude. I'm just like, what am I doing? What am I doing? And so I'm gonna. My friend Marty, she chided me like you just did. You doing it all in QuickBooks, and she's the QuickBooks guru. She's gonna sit down with me. We're gonna get it all into QuickBooks. And with my wife too, because my wife's gonna become the bookkeeper. And she's gonna just be a hawk looking at all the books every day, all day. Not every day, all day, but making sure everything's correct. And then Marty made a good point. I'm sure you could tell me a lot about QuickBooks, but she said it should be like so where you have it all. You just put in the numbers, boom, 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 and then by the time tax season comes, or whenever you want to send money to your numbers to your accountant, you just hit a button and it sends them. Boom, easy, simple. Here's the P&Ls. Here's everything they need to look at. They don't have to dig through all your stuff. He said, CPA is charged by the hour, so you better have everything nice and pretty for them, so they don't have to dig through and start looking, and because they'll do it, but they're gonna charge you an arm and a leg to do it.
Yeah, my CPA does my books, but I have a good CPA, and yeah, QuickBooks is the way to do it. I mean, you can just basically add them into QuickBooks. Your CPA, hey, add my CPA. Your CPA goes into QuickBooks, sees all your books, sees how you want to run your business. But this is a lot, you know what I'm saying? You got to know, because it sounds like you're doing everything in your personal name.
No,
are you a partnership?
LLC.
Are you a partnership?
No, just a regular sole proprietor LLC.
Oh, yeah. You got to get that away from that. Yeah, sole proprietor, you're going to pay more in taxes.
So what am I going to put it as?
Well, you need to first get with your CPA and see if you can go to an S-corp or a C-corp, whatever your tax strategy is. I do S-corp. So basically, I get taxed on what's left. So if they see money on my account that I made for the year, if I can go buy some write-offs, I can do that, and I get taxed on what's left. Sole proprietor, I think it's a little bit different. Refer to a CPA for the full tax bit for all the tax strategies, but I'm pretty sure you're probably getting taxed higher as partnerships and sole proprietors. Probably gonna get taxed higher because I think it rolls straight through to back to you, I believe. So yeah, definitely want to look into. Remember, LLC is just a structure, and everything else is how you file. Do you file as sole proprietor? Do you file as a S corp? Do you file as a C corp? So go into that. But yeah, this is good though, because it's good to you got to have a good CPA. You know what I'm saying? In order to run this business, you got to have a good CPA. You don't want to be looking at a $20,000 tax bill if it comes down to that. Because the first year I did this business, man, I owed $8,000. So I've been in that situation, you know what I'm saying? I was running as an LLC coming back to me, and I didn't have no structure set up. So it does happen. But what I want to say is you did the right thing by getting started, because a lot of people don't get started. They get caught up. Do I create this LLC? Do I do this? It's like, just get a unit first, right? And then worry about that later on down the line. Everything will work itself out. But yeah, man, your strategy, you got to know what your strategy is. Because you talked about cost seg, you were talking about buying properties. And I was like, the reason why, well, first off, go into what you said, and then I'll give a response to it. So like listeners know what we were going into, because you were talking about instead of paying taxes, buying properties.
Well, yeah. So what you told me on the last podcast was you have it where you and your CPA or whatever, you'll have it where you pay your taxes quarterly.
Mm-hmm.
And so that to me, I was a revelation. I never heard that. I thought everybody paid taxes with April 15th and tried to wait for the last day and send it off, to hold that money as long as you could. But And I'm cool. I understand why you would do something like that. It's better than paying like I said, 20,000 at once. If you could pay bits, because we're all used to with jobs, they just do it for us. They just take it out of our paychecks for us. And then we, at the end of the year, we sum everything up. We might get a little money back. We might, whatever. Shouldn't be a $50,000 tax bill on regular Joe Schmo going to a 9-to-5 job, right? Because the job takes it out for you. And so I see the pluses of doing that. Because and it's a big plus to me because you sleep well at night, everything, taxes are getting paid, everything's running smooth, and you know where your business is at. Now I was asking, would it not be better, to use those buckets, to use I know you do what's it first, the profit first method, to have your tax bucket and be filling it out throughout the year with what you're supposed to be paying in taxes, and have that bucket ready to go towards the end of the year. Let's just say you have, let's just say you're doing business is pretty good. You have 50, 60,000 in that bucket. I was like, why would I want to just give that to the government where I could go to my strategy? I mean, there's a lot of different things you can do with that. I'm pretty sure, but my strategy, put a $50,000 down payment on a house, and it gets you a house, and then start, turn it into a rental day one, putting it in the, as a rental, and then pay a couple grand for a cross-seg study to get all that depreciation year one, and get you a nice $100,000 depreciation write-off for that year to counter what your business was doing, all the profits you made, and then not pay any taxes. The Chris Sabo, he came on our show. He does it, but I'm sure a lot of people do it. But that was his big method. He's always looking to buy a house every year to get that appreciation, bonus appreciation, the depreciation to write off to counter all the money he made and all his high-end rentals that year. So that was my thing. Why give it to the government when you can go buy you a property with it and then get you that big ass write-off and then not pay any taxes at all? Plus, you gained another property.
Oh man, this is good. This is why I want, because I'm about to peel back the layers of the onion on this. Or are you asking me to put $50,000 down and put a property in my LLC?
You can put it in your name and then rent it from.
We're now commingling. See what I'm saying? This is why when I say you got to start peeling back the layers of the onion. So if you got all this money in your LLC, you can't commingle that over to your personal. So you can go buy
You can't use that to buy a property?
Not a personal property in your personal name, not at all. You just commingled funds. If they ever sue you, they can come straight to you. Your LLC is dead. Because Steven Suarez is no different than Argis Rentals. No, from here on out. Because Argis Rentals gives Steven Suarez money to buy properties. That's why I say you got to peel back the layer of the onion. So let's say I was to take the $50,000, put it down on the house. First off, I'm not comfortable putting $50,000 down on the house. That's just me. But we're going to say we do put $50,000 down on the house. It's in an LLC. So I'm probably going to have to get what kind of loan?
Okay. I'll say for now, I'll follow you for now, but a DSCR is
DSCR. Do I want a DSCR rent loan rate? You don't like 8%. You like 11? You like 12? Are you now I'm going to take another step. Are you cash flowing in Texas on that? You're going to take an 11 to 12% loan, take $30,000 down. Now, where are your reserves? You probably ain't cash flowing. We know you ain't cash flowing because, first of all, the property taxes are too high in Texas, right? So the reason you want to avoid Texas is because of property taxes. So the better strategy in Texas is sub-2 owner finance. So it all depends on your strategy. The reason why I brought up leadership, because this is really good learning lesson, because we have to be very intentional with our goals. So if that's your goal to do that, yeah, it works, but you may be better off, especially in Texas. Now, Alex Sabio, who you're referring to, he does vacation rental markets. Now, putting $50,000 down on a vacation rental, you could cash flow a little better, but you have your snowbird season. But I'm not in that business. So you have to know, that's why I want everyone to know, you need to know what strategy works for what your business goals are. Me, I wouldn't do that just because that's not my goal. Like I buy properties with time, not money. So I'd rather, plus this is the good thing about profit first. I might not, that tax bucket, if I don't owe the full tax bucket, it becomes a distribution back to me. So now I get another tax write-off by distributing the money back to myself. So it's multiple ways to do it. Now, if you were to distribute it back to yourself, but I think you can only do like, you got to give it a CPA. It's only like 40 or 60% that you can distribute. You can distribute it back to yourself and then go buy a property like that. You know what I'm saying? If you're at that threshold of what you can distribute, if you're running as an S-corp. So it's multiple ways to look at it, but you have to know what is your strategy. But yeah, that's a really good conversation. But yeah, go ahead on that because I know you had some more stuff to say on that.
Okay, let's assume in a perfect world, excuse me, that and I just said, I just said DCR. I knew where you're going with that DCR, DCR loan with the high interest rate and all that stuff, and with the cash flow. To me, I'm not trying to buy with banks anymore. I'm trying to, and I did an owner finance one. I bought one, which I am going to use for the depreciation, the cross seg study. And by the way, anybody listening that doesn't know what a cross segregation study is, check it out. It's a cool way to realize all the depreciation of a house you just bought this year. You buy it this year and you put it into business this year, or turn it into a rental. You can't go buy a house and live in it and then get all the depreciation year one. It has to be like for your business or a rental or something like that. And so you buy a house, turn it into a rental day one or whatever. And then you pay a company to do a cross segregation study, and they go in there and they count every single brick, and they count every wood beam, and they count every floor tile, and they get the maximum amount they can for all these depreciation bits and components and nails and screws to your house to maximize that. So not only are you getting more depreciation than you would for 27 and a half years, let's say 27 and a half years, you're going to get $50,000 worth of depreciation, whereas they can like turbocharge it to make you get 100,000 of depreciation, plus you get it year one. So that counterbalances all the rental income you made that year because it's in your business or whatever. And so and my thing was, and I did answer it, put it in, what if I put it in my name or whatever, but my thing is I'm gonna buy, I bought that owner finance one with the LLC, right? In the LLC, it's sitting in the LLC. And I'm working on another owner finance one that I'm going to put in my LLC. And that's my goal, and then the Adam Johnson plan, he buys every single house he buys subject to, he puts it in his LLC. He don't put nothing in his name. And that's great. That's what I aim to do. That's my goal. And so also
you're talking about, go ahead. Because we're going to go into LLCs. You're talking about a separate LLC, right? You don't want it all coming into your. I don't have my cash in my house. I wouldn't have my cash in my houses in the same LLC. Because if my cash flow's coming through there, all that's on the line.
So you're going to make, for every single property, you're going to make a brand new LLC.
I have right now, not right now. Right now, I'll have them in my personal name and I rent them to my LLC. And then I have, like if I'm doing a rehab, I have a holding company holding the property while I'm rehabbing. Because I keep my cash where it's coming in separate from the places that I own. So my money comes into my LLC. My LLC is a management company, essentially. Like I manage properties and I can rent my properties to them. I can rent other people's properties and I can manage people's short-term rentals with them.
So that's not commingling, that the houses are in your name.
No. We talked about this all the time. You just rent the properties to the LLC.
So so I can go and buy a property in my name, just as long as I rent it to my LLC. I'm good.
Sir, you said you were buying a property with LLC money. You said you had all this money from your fund, right? You're now taking your money from your LLC and buying a property. You can do that all day. But if you're saying you're trying to get a low interest rate by putting it in your personal name, that's where your red flag comes up.
Okay, well, I ain't trying to do that. I ain't trying to fuck with banks. So I'm trying to buy these houses, owner financing or subject to, and I want to put them in my LLC. And so that's what I'm saying, because here's why, what really sparked this thought today, right? I was looking at my emails, and I'm on Ziona. Shout out to Ziona McIntyre on her email list, and she's starting to send out blasts of these properties right now that are subject to. Now hers are like super high end Colorado properties sitting on top of a mountain, all that shit. Really nice. But the down payment on one of these subject to properties is like $150,000. So her, we're not her target market, probably not, but there's probably some millionaires that are looking to scoop up some subject to properties that they can put down. They're coming towards the end of the year. They're seeing how much taxes they're going to pay. They can go get this $1 million, $1.5 million property, put $150,000 down, and then take that $1 million depreciation write off to go against their taxes. They can do shit like that, right? And I think that's what rich people have been doing forever. That's why they accumulate so many properties, so they can use these properties, the depreciation, to counter their profits.
Yeah,
and that's why I said, what would it not be better to have that money, instead of paying it every single month, every single quarter, paying these taxes, to just let it build up and then buy a property with it.
Yeah. See, and I like that strategy. But I just know that's what I was saying. It's everyone's goals. That strategy works. That strategy does work. It's just, for me, it's not mine, because I buy, like I said, I buy with time, not cash. Like, if you see me putting $50,000 down on a property, I'm probably going to get that $50,000 back in 6 months, because I bought it at the deal, right? I don't buy sticker price. I buy undervalued, built the value into it, and forced appreciation. So it's about your strategy, If you can do that with sub 2 deals, you can do SERVs, subject to rehab, rehab, rent, refinance, repeat as well. So it's multiple ways to do it, and
that's what Adam Johnson does.
Yeah.
Adam Johnson does that.
And I tell people, because subject to, and that's why I always tell people, I'm trying to do in Texas, I want to do owner finance and subject to. In Arkansas, I want to do subject to, owner finance, and I'll do a BRRRR. The reason is because property taxes aren't as high, so I can still cash flow from a bank. In Texas, I can't cash flow from a bank. So always being intentional on where you are, what's your what market you're in. Knowing your market's huge, because in Texas, you want to acquire everything sub 2 and owner finance in Texas right now, because it's ugly out here. I was actually talking to a lady who uses owner finance as her exit strategy. And I was like, well, let's do some business. Let me see if I can buy one of your properties that you owner finance out. And see, but she did tell me hers, and this is another thing about people who do owner finance as an exit strategy. She actually targets people who want to buy a house and live in it. Because when you really think about it, when I owner finance this property to this person, most of the time the rental numbers don't work. I was like, are you serious? She goes, no. She goes, if I show you the rental numbers, they don't work for them, it to be a rental for them. So that's why she targets homeowners. And I was like, that's a smart idea. And I'm thinking, is like the state of Texas, are we getting to that point where these interest rates are going up and property taxes are going up, where some of these deals just don't even cash flow at all? Because I've been hearing that is an issue, because I'm talking to a management client up in Allen. Hers cash flows long-term, but another person, hers doesn't cash flow as a long-term. And I'm like, damn, that's an ugly situation to be in. You know what I mean? And you don't want to use Airbnb short-term rentals as that solution is, now it cash flows. It's like, what if regulations happen? You're screwed again. You know what I mean? Mm-hmm. So everyone, be intentional with your goals and like know what you want to do, man. But yeah, that strategy does work. Just always peel back the layers of the onion in whatever you do. Sub 2, owner finance, BRRRRs, always peel back the layers of the onions, because DSCR loans, that was a shock in the face. I'm like, oh shit, 12%. Hell no, I'm out.
Now I will say this, that we did buy a condo, and we did a DSCR loan on the condo, right? To get it with the business. We had enough business history and profits and all that. And we got it at 8.5. And that was months back though. And I was like, holy crap, that's high. To me, that was high, because that was back when I guess the regular rates were around 7 or so, but yeah, we had to pay a point and a half higher than that. And I was like, why is their interest rate so high?
Yeah.
It's because it's a investment property in your LLC, and it's higher. And I was like, oh crap, well, but now you're saying they're like 11 and 12. I'm like, holy smokes.
Yeah, you might be able to get one for 8, 9, possibly. I just did a refi at 7, but I didn't do DSCR. My goal is I'll do more DSCR later on down in my investment portfolio. Like I want a certain number of doors of cash flow, and then I'll hop into DSCR if I have to, you know what I mean? Depending on how good the deal is. And people always have to realize you got to know know if a deal is good or bad, right? Cash flow is one thing, but does it appreciate? Appreciation, cash flow, what's the purchase price on this thing? Does the purchase price make sense with these property taxes and interest rates? You have to analyze all that. And I think that's what I think that's why a lot of people arbitrage, to be real, because they don't want to do that. They're like, oh, that's the hard work. But that's the hard work that'll make you a multimillionaire.
Truth. Let's talk about one thing, Myka. I've heard that Airbnb is having some troubles lately, and they're taking it out on us lowly hosts, man. What's going on with Airbnb and their world of trouble?
I heard they're just removing cleaning fees from what I heard. Oh, and speaking of that, I did shout out to my guy Mike Ige. I actually went back to the management fee model. I got out of the whole. So for the last 2 months, I had the cleaning fee on. I think a month and a half or so, I had the cleaning fee on. It was working out. Then Mike showed me another strategy where he splits the cleaning fee between the management fee and the cleaning fee. So it shows a low management fee and then a low cleaning fee and a low management fee. And then people have been booking since I've been doing that. I started yesterday, and it's been reservations been coming in, but I never thought to do it that way. The reason why I turned it off was because Airbnb changed it. Airbnb was, when you put a management fee on there, if you put discounts in there, it was discounting the management fee because it was adding into the nightly rate. So I was like, oh shit, hold on, I can't do this. So I went back to so I took it off, and I guess it's changed now. So I put the management fee back on. So I do the management fee mixed with the cleaning fee, and it's been working out pretty well because I guess Airbnb went out in there and wiped out people's cleaning fees. I'm assuming they did that on the people that don't have a PMS, is from what I'm hearing.
Because I read an article about Airbnb, right? And he's kind of like giving warnings to his investors, kind of deal. You know, he's saying, yeah, we're going through a transition phase. The company, we're changing how we're doing a lot of things. He said one of the main problems is we grew way too fast, way too big, and we didn't have time to get the proper systems in place. And I was like, ain't that some shit? Because that's like a general thing in business, small business all the way up to multi-billion-dollar business. If you grow too fast, it's hard to get the right systems in place, and things can get pretty messy pretty quickly. And so it appeared that it got messy with Airbnb. And so the margins are a lot lower now for them to profit. Of course, with the host, it's getting lower now because we're getting the squeeze from the high mortgage rates, high rents, high taxes, high utilities. All this stuff has been going up. And the people that, and it's happening to just regular, people that aren't hosts, but they like to stay at Airbnbs or they like to travel. They can't afford to travel like before because all their expenses has gone up. Groceries has gone up, gas has gone up, utilities has gone up, everything has gone up, price of everything's gone up. And so now they don't want to spend a buttload of money to go travel somewhere, right? And so now it's just in a rough spot, and pretty much Chesky is like trying to encourage hosts to lower their prices so they can, expect lower margins on the places that you're Airbnb-ing. And one of and I was like, okay, that's cool and all to suggest something and try to get people to do something, but he did that slick move where if you didn't set up a lower price for cleaning fees for a 1 night or 2 night stay, they automatically put it at 0. They defaulted it to 0 on everybody. So people were finding out, holy crap, someone stayed at my place for $100, on a Tuesday or some shit. I put it at $100, and my cleaning fee is $150. And they didn't have to pay it because they removed the 1-day cleaning fees. And so I'm out $50. I paid someone $50 to stay at my place, And so they did that without warning anybody. So it's back to those kind of dirty tactics towards the host, just like when COVID hit, he let everybody cancel on you scot-free, even if they didn't have COVID or whatever. With that, and got 100% refunds, and he kind of bankrupted a lot of hosts out there. And so and we talk about it on the show. We have people on the show talk about don't be reliant on Airbnb. And we're trying our hardest not to be reliant on Airbnb. We do get a big chunk of our income from them, but we're not 100% reliant. We get a lot of midterm bookings, and we do a lot of off-platform stuff. And so I guess another thing I'm hearing is that he's really going to try to cater more to the 30-day plus stays because of all these crackdowns and all these cities and all these bans and all this stuff happening on 30 days on and below, stays. So they're trying to really build their company to accommodate those stays instead of us going off platform with these people and Airbnb not getting a penny from them.
Yeah, and I'm happy that storm's started to hit. It's funny. I was at my job today, right? And they were actually started talking about Airbnbs because I have a short-term rental and my coworker has one. And I kind of was staying out of the conversation because I like to hear like the natural raw guest view of it. And it was really good. Like, right. They were talking and they started making all these jokes. They were like, yeah, I'm not we can go stay in an Airbnb and pay $300 for a cleaning fee. And then we have to clean up ourselves, So I was talking to this, my coworker was like, yeah, man, I went down. He goes, and it's funny. He said, I like going to where hosts are actually living on site. He said, I stayed at this older lady's house down in some part of Texas, and she lived in the front house and she rented the back house. And what she was doing was whenever it was time to clean, he goes, she just asked us nicely in the messages, hey, can you put the laundry, all the dirty clothes in the laundry? He goes, she didn't even ask us to start it or anything. And we were like, she was so nice about it. We just went ahead and started it, and she was charging a low cleaning fee. So Airbnb is starting to see it's pissing guests off. The cleaning fee pisses off guests. It just does, right? Because, they don't see it at a hotel. They're paying it. They just don't see it. So Airbnb is now in a situation where they're saying, okay, we need to get rid of the cleaning fee because of the guests, and we need to lower the rates because people are hitting hard times, like you just said, man. They're hitting hard times. And I've started to notice as well, is there a pullback on travel? I haven't ran the numbers, but I do kind of want to start seeing, is there a pullback on travel? Because if there is a pullback on travel, that's when we have to get really sophisticated. We got to start looking at it like, okay, how do we get those midterms? Make sure we're listed everywhere. By the way, I've been getting reservations on Wednesday. And I noticed they're hosting VRMA, I believe, this year. I've been getting reservations on Wednesday. But you just got to be really sophisticated. I don't think Airbnb is going to tank, but I think they're at the situation where they've pissed off too many hosts and too many guests expect bad things from them. So it's just like, it's not really working out. They've become the bad middleman. That's how I look at it.
Yeah, man. It's funny when you said that about he prefers to stay at places where the hosts are on site.
Yeah, and
that's cool. But me, I tried it once, and I told you that lady he was eating my French fries out of my Whataburger.
No, not that's what I'm saying. Not in the property, just on site, like a house here, and a house there. That's what he was talking about. Okay.
But it just brought me back the flashback to that.
Because I don't like staying there either.
Y'all eating Whataburger over there? Yeah.
And one thing is I've actually one of my best Airbnb experiences was a duplex where the owner lived on the other side. Like if you need anything, he was like, hey, just come over, let me know. And we didn't really need anything, but he didn't ask for too much. And me personally, and I have a question because I haven't experienced it. Are people really asking for these high ass cleaning fees and then telling people to clean up? I've heard people say it, but I ain't necessarily, because I don't do that shit. Like,
no, I don't.
Ain't no way I'm charging you $180 for a cleaning fee and I'm telling you to go wash the dishes. That's just ridiculous. You know what I'm saying? Is that a real thing? Like, do you do that?
No, we encourage them to don't leave a disaster behind or something, in kind words, but we don't tell them to go to strip the beds and start the laundry and sweep and mop. We don't tell them to do all that.
Either that's either on Reddit or it's a real thing. I'm thinking it's a real thing because
I think it's real.
Yeah, me too. And you know what? See, and I don't know what type of host is doing that. Is that like a mom and pop host who just doesn't want to clean up after you? or is that like a professional host where they have a bunch of units and they want their cleaning team? Boom, boom, boom. I just don't know. I don't know what type of host does that.
That's a good point. I think it's more of the mom and pop, the ones that are just starting out at it. I think that's more of that instead of like a professional with the professional team. No, they're not gonna make people clean up. They it's just more of the mom and pop stuff because a lot of it is their house. It's their house. It's their baby. They want people going in there and making a mess. You know what I'm saying? Clean up after yourself.
And then there's the other side to that because even when I first started hosting, and hosts have changed because there's too much information. Because when me and you first started, there wasn't like this conglomerate information on just Airbnb, right? So we're kind of big guinea pigs in it, right? So when we started, we weren't telling them to clean up because we wanted to go in, see what needed to be done, and see how this thing works. I remember I used to clean. You and Lupita used to clean. Me and Mahogany used to clean. So we all kind of wanted to see how it works. So it wouldn't even cross my mind to do some shit like that, bro.
Man, yeah. Getting big flashbacks now talking about when we was cleaning.
Yeah, I would have never came to my mind to tell you, hey, man, mind scrubbing the toilet before you leave. Like, what the
fuck? At least flush the ducal down, man.
Yeah, like, I don't know. It's a different game, man.
Yeah, you mentioned something about like talking to people, stuff like that. And like the lady asking him nicely, oh, you put the laundry in the thing. Oh yeah, sure. Talking to them, and it's a bit that's more palatable than someone leaving you a list of things and put the things in the laundry. That sounds weird, but a lady face-to-face contact or a phone call or whatever, could it's a little different because you get the tone and everything. We're humans. We're built to like be talking, face to face, and you read people's expressions and tones, and if they're being, an a-hole or being cool or being whatever. Now, I called a HOA president.
Oh man.
I had to call because here's what was happening. Our Dallas condo that we own, we had been doing, we've been doing it. We've been there for a couple years already as an arbitrage, and then we ended up buying the place, right?
Mm-hmm.
And so, and now they just decided to start. I mean, they've thrown some emails out there. Please, this is not a Airbnb property or 30 days minus blah, blah, blah property. But then I started getting some direct emails from the HOA president saying, hey, we know you're doing an Airbnb. Please stop. You can be on Airbnb, but it has to be 30 days plus, blah, blah, blah. And I was like, okay, fine. And I told the team to go ahead and change the calendar to 30 days plus, and they did. But then we started getting a couple more bookings the next day. I mean, this month's been killer in Dallas, man. It's been like, what the hell's going on? It's October. And if my calendar filled up the rest of the month, and I was like, oh crap, it's cool. But I thought they turned off the thing. And so, and I'm training, my assistant, Manu, he does a lot of this stuff for me. He's like my main assistant, Yeah. I got my team that handles all everything, but he's doing the midterm side strong. He's getting us a lot of midterm bookings, and he handles things if I need something fixed, or something done, he'll handle it for me. And what happened was the hospital, the price slabs was turned on. So at midnight, it went ahead and threw the rules back, to where it was under 30 days. So he missed that. I told him, dude, this is what you got to do when, if you're going to change something like that, be sure to go turn off the price slabs. And so, but those bookings came through. And so, so I was like, man, there's three nice bookings came through, filling out the rest of the month. I said, I really don't want to cancel them. And so I'm going to call, but I know he's going to notice another check-in, check-out, because I guess they got, they got some eyes and ears on the place, whatever. And so I just bit the bullet. I have to call. I'm gonna make a phone call. I'm gonna make a grown man phone call. And so I call, and of course it was I couldn't get a hold of him. So here's my information. Please have him call me. And I even left the email. Hey, call me when you get a chance. And so he called me. He's like, hey, Steve, this is blah 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 over here at the HOA. President of the HOA. What's going on? And I was like, well. So I did the thing, I turned off, I put it at 30 days plus, showed you a screenshot, it's 30 days plus. But what happened was I have two different systems that kind of, one system wasn't or forced another, rule through, and it made it under 30 days, but I got these bookings. And I said, and it's pretty much filling out the rest of the month. But I said, I mean, is there any way that we can do it where, I'll start November 1st, 30 days plus for sure. I figured out the problem. It's not going to happen again. They said, yeah, that's fine. Just let me know what the last person checks out. Just give me that information, and it's fine. I'll let you ride these last few bookings out. He goes, I'm not trying to be an asshole. People think I'm an asshole because they get the emails, but I'm not trying to be an asshole. I'm just trying to make it just everybody aware that it's not a 30-day, not under 30 days. Here it's in the rules and stuff. And I don't want to fine people. That's why I give out warnings. I'm not trying to be an asshole. I'm just trying to let people know. And I'll work with you if you called me and talked to me, and so I'll work with you. And then after those are done, then yeah, just make sure it's 30 days plus.
Yeah, I
was like, cool. He's a cool dude. He didn't. I was nervous. I was scared because it's like, I have to explain this to somebody. I have to make a grown up phone call. But a lot of times that works, man. We actually talk to somebody and explain the situation and be honest. Yeah, and so, but we're in a generation, and I'm in a generation we still kind of did that, but then generations probably younger than me they're losing the art of actually face-to-face talking or phone calls. Nobody wants to be on the phone. Text me. What are you doing calling me? Text me, motherfucker. And so it's just the generation thing, because these phones, everybody wants instant information, instant answers right now without making a phone call, because they're probably texting with 10 different people at once, whatever. So but if you are able to bite the bullet and really breathe in deep and freaking call somebody, especially these HOA people, probably older,
yeah,
they're older, and they care about the community. And if you talk to them and just be genuine with them, and don't be rude, that's not fair, just be cool, just talk to him, and then it's gonna be okay.
I'm happy you brought that up, man, because the power of communication, man, it's huge. I actually this is gonna be a good topic, because I know you're gonna love this topic, because you're in management. And I know the last few weeks we talked about, like, hey, if you're taking on a management client, who's the perfect management client, right? So I do have a management client that I'm talking to. She has a nice ass house. It's in Allen.
I just heard nice ass, and then I was like, oh, house, okay.
I don't know if she has that, but hey,
that's the perfect man. No, just kidding.
So she got this nice ass house. I'm going to see it tomorrow, like the actual inside of it. But she wants to manage it, and I did a Zoom call, and I immediately seen what the issue was with the house. Like, she's getting her weekends booked, but her weekdays aren't booked, and her weekdays are just one flat price. I'm like, okay, I already see the issue here. And I talked to her, and then what I was thinking was, I'm like, all my other clients, because I'm very picky on clients, because I'm very just picky. I don't want them to be bothering me, bugging me. You've talked about the struggles of that. So she's been managing for a year or 2 years, a year by herself. But her issue is she's like, I don't want to go to the property anymore. She goes, I have all these long-term rentals, and they just make money for me, right? I'm in that phase of my life. I just want the money to come in. But she has old school systems. She has a lock that she has to manually set the lock on, put the new code on. So when you're going through a potential management client, what are some things that are just a hard no, and how do you vet them if they've already been a host?
That's a good one, man. Because and we've talked about it before. The people that were self-managing, and it's always the same story, just like you said, oh, I'm just tired of it. I want to hand it off to someone else. I'm at that point in my life. I don't want to be dealing with all this stuff. And then yet they're going to tell you 1,000 different ways that you should be doing your job, and it's now I will say this. My situation is a little bit different than yours, because I have a team in place that I can hand off a higher maintenance client to, where I will not have to talk to them every single day, and I can do that. And they will cater to that higher needs ex-host or yeah. toast.
I already have a system like that in place. No, okay, this is my question. Has that system worked on someone who's already self-managed?
Knock on wood, so far so good.
Okay.
Sometimes I look through the messages and I feel a little bad for my team. They gotta answer 1,000 messages, but that ain't me. They're cool with it. I'm paying them, and that's their job, is to
that's
satisfy.
That's how my current system is.
Mm-hmm.
My VAs talk to the management clients, and they'll come to me if they need anything. Because as soon as you're onboarded, hey, here's the number to text if you need anything. But I don't want.
I had to train. Go ahead. Train them at first, because they will. I mean, you brought them on board, and they're used to calling you for. I'm like, okay, hit up this number. This is our management line. I can see the messages too, but our team can help 99% of the problems. But hit up this thing, and they can handle whatever. Anything they can't handle, I'm happy to talk to you. But just put the message here, not just straight to me, because then I got to tell the team, here's the line that you use to communicate with us to get a problem solved. Because after a certain hour, I might not even have my phone on, and you're sending me messages directly. No one else is seeing them. But if you send it to this line, everybody sees the message,
Yeah.
So you got to train them at first. Yeah, you just got to train them.
Because this is another thing, power of communication. One of the things I've been doing, because I know you were talking about empowering your team. One thing I've been doing is I've been having my VA. I'm trying to really get my VA to sit in on meetings, like meetings with cleaning teams, meetings with new management clients. So then they know her and they're comfortable going to her. But this is, I guess I'm kind of skeptical because it's my first time managing someone who's been self-managing. And I'm like, and I know me, I'm just like, it's going to test my leadership skills. I think I'm going to take the client on, but it's just one of those things. Like, I hope this doesn't turn to an issue. And if I have that energy, I know it's going to come. So I have to kind of change my mindset. But I was just saying, with you and the clients that you've managed who self-managed, what's it been like? So that's a good advice.
I will say this. I have a little more patience than some people have to deal with clients like that. And a lot of times they just want to be heard. And I've given this example before. We've had a challenging one in the past that we were going to let go of, and that's right around the time that, me and Fede went our separate ways. But I actually, after, Fede left, I spoke with her, and I just let her get it all out. She was going through a bunch of stuff, and she was frustrated with a bunch of things, and she just wanted to let, vent. She wanted someone to vent to, not like push back or nothing. And I just listened to everything she had to say. And I said, okay, I see areas where we can improve. We're going to try to work on that. I'm going to tell the team. And tell me what you want us to do, how you want us, if you want us to show, send you, photos or report, just tell me what you need to have done. I'll have the team work on that, and we'll try to get that to you. And, and ever since then, it's been, I mean, there was a couple hiccups, of course, like I said, transitioning, there's a couple hiccups, but it's been smooth. And like I said, we picked up another a client that's higher needs, that's self-managed and did things her way for so long, and but she's coming around too, and she's dealing with the team's helping her every step of the way. She's not freaking out as much anymore because she's seen we're doing, a pretty good job and handling issues that come up, and she's starting to let her foot off the gas a little bit, trying to let, okay, now I'm starting to trust them more. Here you go. Okay, I'm gonna back off a little more. And but you have to have that personality where you're more patient with people like that, And I think I have that. Not everybody does, and that's cool, whatever. But I can just sit there and listen to people and let them get it all out. I'm good on the phone with people, I'm good. I have good people skills, as they say. So I can relate. I can say and just let them vent, and then just let them talk, and then come up with a solution that's good for them. That's one of my strengths.
Yeah. I think that's Mahogany's strength. So I think I'll let her do that.
And that's fine. Pass it on to her.
Yeah, that's a good thing to have, because I'm because we're going to meet her tomorrow at the property so we can tour it. There are things like. And the one thing I do, like, have you had any challenges like having the clients change things? Like, hey, you have to have TCL TVs. You have to have this type of a lock. What's been your struggle with that?
That one, yeah. There's a property in Joshua Tree that we inherited, and it's not doing too good. I mean, if you've seen some of the stuff on Joshua
Oh
Tree
yeah, it's
lately,
been bad, man.
if you don't have freaking Disneyland at your place, you're probably not gonna make any money in Joshua Tree because, and this place is just a pretty basic 3-2 house, and I mean it's pretty, but there's no swimming pool, there's no cowboy pools, there's no like really nice fire pit with expensive furniture outside. It's no frills, no
Yeah.
add-ons. Whereas everybody that went there just went and outdid the next one. So they got to have the cowboy pools. They got to have the big fire pits. They got to have, the arcade games. They got to have, it just everybody kept, raising the bar higher and higher. So if you can't, if your bar is low, you ain't gonna make no money over there.
Dude,
And
that's
we've told them, you got to do more things. You got to put some money into it. But he's in a weird situation where I'm losing money every month. How can I afford to put more money into it? But it's just a weird, he bought
you got a house in Joshua Tree. You better figure that shit out.
well, he renting a house in Joshua Tree. It's an arbitrage. Yeah, it was one of those arbitrage in a box kind of deals. I feel a lot of people got burned by those. Sign a 2-year lease and all that.
Airbnb friendly. Yeah, all that stuff. Oh man. So damn, man. So have you been to it?
No.
We need to take an LLT trip out there, man. I'll take a trip out to the Joshua Tree Airbnb in a box.
That would be good. That would be cool.
I'm down to do that, man. Because I mean, Josh, and see, I remember how we went back to, we were talking earlier about being intentional and knowing your market. Like, you got to know your market. Like, if you're in Joshua Tree, California, you can't put up no podunk, bro. Like, it just ain't happening, It's just, you got to know your market. So that is very important to know your market. And that's, because Joshua Trees, if you have it out there, you can make a boatload of money. But if you don't want to put that money into it, it's going to be a struggle, man. Yeah, I'd love to go out there, man.
Even
I guess kind of to follow up on what you said. Now, with him being like that, are y'all continuing to manage? Is there any issues y'all are having? Like with him his hands are up with it?
He's just whatever. He's cool making a little bit and we're still getting our money and ride it out. He don't have the time to manage it himself. He don't want to manage it himself. And I mean, what can we do? Unless we pour money into it to make it better, but that's our money. No, we ain't trying to do that. We can't do that, but we can make all the suggestions we want. And if he wants us to keep managing something that ain't doing too hot, I mean, we'll try to do as best we can and make something out of it instead of him making zero. But and we're trying real hard to get a midterm booking in there. But his rent's so freaking high that you have to get a super high mid. So we can't. I mean, it's just not a good situation. But he's got this long ass lease on there, and he's got a.
How long is this lease?
He probably signed a 2-year lease. I'm thinking. Probably signed a 2-year lease. So.
Yeah,
I don't know. What would you do? Like, I know you like to put everything under LLC and stuff, but I guess you're losing your ass at a property. What are you gonna do? You gonna try to bounce?
I've lost my ass on a couple times doing arbitrage. I mean, that shit just happens. But if you're not profitable at all, you may want to consider cutting that lease. I'm to that point, like with Dallas. The only reason I'm staying is because we've been killing it, right? Like we getting now, we're starting to see the trick. We're in Q3. Q4. We're starting to see the trickle effects of people leaving. So I'm keeping some of those units. But when you're losing your ass, man, I mean. Unless you just got money to blow like that, more power to you. But I look to cut it off. But I mean, that's the beauty of management, right? Like you can only suggest, and then it sounds like this guy, did he self-manage at all?
No. It was more of a, Airbnb in a box, and here's somebody that can manage it for you.
Yeah. He probably had. Yeah. Okay. So that makes sense. And but not saying the guy's situation is bad, but it's a good situation for you because one, he's never managed. He don't ever want to learn that. He's cool with losing money, and then you just kind of get money. I don't like being like that, but I mean, it's kind of like, what do you do, right? So,
I mean, it'd be worse if we dumped him. We said, well, you're not making any money. We feel bad for you. We're going to dump you, but we're still going to just try until
Me too.
he says, yeah, this ain't going to work no more. Okay, cool. We're trying. because he don't want it. He don't want to manage himself.
Straight up. And I've been there. I mean, I've talked to, because I try to be as transparent, because I've passed up management clients who I've told them like, hey, this probably ain't a good deal, and they hop into it anyway. And but I only have 2 management clients, but they're really nice ass properties. Those are the people I'm looking for, who've never managed, who just have a side hustle, who have a full blown business of their own, and then this is a side money that's just coming in. So, yeah, it sounds like that's what he is, but he's just in a bad situation. Bad situation, I should say.
Situation.
Yeah. So I mean, it is what it is.
One thing I just wanted to touch on real quick, and it's right now, I mean, if you're looking to pick up properties and stuff like that, like you said, there's a lot of people hopping out trying to get out. You could get some good deals. And as Myka always says, or I think you say it, terms over cash, right? You want terms over spending a big wad of cash trying to pick something up.
Yeah. Sure.
And so I've been hit up by someone that's wanted to pick up a couple of our Houston ones we're bouncing out of, and and I'm just offering them right now. Okay, here's all the furniture. They're designed. They're fully furnished, ready to go. Airbnb day one. Where our lease is coming up in November, so anybody wants them like this, either way, we're gonna bounce, whatever. Somebody hit me up. They said, "Oh, okay, you want this much for furniture? How about I give you a little bit more, but you give me terms and I can spread it out over a year, or something like that."
Mm-hmm.
So, okay, terms is cool. I know the terms game. I always try to do that too. I don't try to give someone $10,000 day one. I try to spread it out. Try to make the profits pay for the place, right? And so, but this guy, cool dude. I talked to him, and he's also trying to get terms from the actual landlord himself. He said he wants the first month free. He wants reduced rent if he signs a 3-year contract. I mean, that's the way to do it. That's the way, like they say in real estate, you make money when you buy, right?
Sure.
So arbitrage, you make money when you sign the lease. That's when you're going to make most of your money if you sign a good lease.
Then one thing I will say about this episode, 2 key things about this episode, and actually Steve was actually the touch bases on both of them, is being in management and being in arbitrage, and how they both have their benefits. You said you turned a management client into an arbitrage, and you actually turned an arbitrage into an own property. So that's why if you just get out there and do this, man, it's so many opportunities that come at you. If you get out there, you get to meet people, talk to people, opportunities just will come your way. And that's a cool thing that you've done. I love that you've turned an arbitrage into an own property, then a management client into a arbitrage, because there's so many avenues right now. Especially, I'm noticing a lot of people just really need management because they don't want to do it anymore, or they just heard about Airbnb and they just want somebody to manage something that they're about to pick up. And those are the clients I like. But yeah, it's a lot of powerful, tools from this episode. We touched on buying, we touched on management, we touched on arbitrage, we touched on the three big hitters, and they all serve a great purpose. But yeah, I'm loving it, man. I'm loving what we're doing, where we're going. We're about to we got some big stuff coming up, because I'm actively trying to buy a property right now myself. So big stuff coming. I'm actually going to be buying this one with my IRA. So I'll let y'all know how that goes.
Interesting. That's a whole nother episode right there.
Yeah. Definitely is. Yeah.
Well, cool, man. Yeah, we went pretty long on this one, and yeah, I love doing this stuff. I love doing this show. It's fun. We get to get it all out there, and y'all get to benefit by listening to it, and maybe getting inspired and doing something or learning something. So spread the love. Tell everybody about our show, that you love listening, and we really appreciate that you love listening to us and sending your love our way, and just spread the word. Let other people know, abundancy mindset all the time, man. Because the more you tell people, they're going to be probably they're not going to be your enemies in the future going against you. They're going to be your business partners more than anything. So keep spreading the love, keep sharing the wealth. And then let's get this tide going up again and lifting all the boats.
Yes, sir, man. Thank y'all for continuing to listen. Remember to hit that like button. Remember to subscribe on wherever you listen to podcasts. Leave us a good review. If you don't like us, oh well, We'll laugh at your review. But yeah, show us some good love. Leave us a review, subscribe. Thank y'all for continuing to listen to us. Send us an email, info@liveletthrive.com. You can email us both individually, steve@liveletthrive.com, Myka@liveletthrive.com. Continue living, continue letting live, you continue thriving. And thank y'all for continuing to being listeners. We are out.
Peace.
Later.
Thank you for tuning in to this week's episode of Live, Let, Thrive. Be sure to tune in next week for all the latest in the world of Airbnb and all that entails. Bye-bye.